I was having a hard time with game dev, so I decided to make a game in 1 week. Hey, my name is Mike, and I've been learning game development for the past few months. This is the story on how I almost gave up on game development after a few tries, because my ideas were too complex. So grab a cup of coffee and get comfortable, because this is just the beginning. A few months back, I started my game development journey with Godot. My first game idea was a management game, similar to Factory or Satisfactory, but with the twist that absolutely everything was automated, even the main character decisions and tasks. I quickly gave up on that idea since making a management game with little knowledge of game development is, well, it's a bad idea. I then went back to the drawing board or thinking board and decided to make a game about having your own coffee shop. At first it was going to be a simple game similar to the old Flash games I grew up with, but it rapidly grew with coffee shop management and building your own coffee shop chain and... I'm starting to see a pattern here. Why don't we just make the next Hollow Knight instead? At this point I was about to give up. Maybe I should stop trying. Maybe I should stick with making boring websites. No! I needed to make the next big game, but I'm out of ideas. Wait, that's it. All this time I was trying to make a huge game with never before seen mechanics and a groundbreaking story, but this was going to be my first game. Even Hollow Knight started as a simple game jam idea. So I made myself another coffee and played video games for a little, but my head was still spinning, thinking on game ideas. I needed a simple game with simple mechanics. Something that I would play myself. So I made a game about abducting cows. In this game you're a white rectangle that abducts white squares. Well, at least that's how it started. This is where I did my first good move. I focused on game mechanics over looks. I knew I wanted my game to be pixel art inspired by old arcade games. But first I needed my game to work. I started with a large rectangle for the UFO and a square for the cows. Hopefully I already had some code that I could reuse from an old project, so I added some more code, and with that the basic moving and abducting mechanics was on. At that point I felt bored of watching white squares, so I decided to draw a proper UFO and a cow. Sadly I forgot to record that, but after struggling with animations for a few minutes I got something that I was happy with. Oh, and I also added a panic stake for the cows. I then duplicated the cow scene and called it human. I made it faster though. After all, we are just faster cows, aren't we? I was comfortable enough with the game mechanics, so I decided to throw a parallax background in the mix. I will probably make some changes to it in the future, but it's better than a grey background. I also called it a cool beam for the UFO. Finally, I hooked the cows and humans to spawners and added some neat UI to show the scores. Maybe it's a little late to confess this, but the title of this video is actually a lie. It took me a week to get all the mechanics of the game hooked up, but it took me another week in polishing, adding score, spawn logic and menus. But I made a game in 2 weeks, was not as catchy for my first video title, so if you made it up till this point, keep it the secret for me, will you? So yeah, that's the story on how I went from a Factorio-like to a Papa's Pizzeria-like to a Hollow Knight-like, and finally landing on a cow abducting game. What a journey. You can already play the beta of the game on itch.io, link in the description. There is a lot of work that needs to be done for this to be considered an actual playable game. In the next video I will probably work on improving the UI, adding some music and sound effects, and improving the whole game experience overall. If you like this type of videos, please leave a like and consider subscribing. Also, leave a comment if you like a more in-depth type of video showing how I build the different mechanics and parts of the game. I will continue polishing the game, and I know that with some feedback I will end up with a cool game about abducting cows. See you around!